Now, one of the most important things to come out of the Maurya Empire was this person, Ashoka. Now, Ashoka was Chandragupta's grandson. And you can see here the empire of Ashoka ended up being quite the sprawling empire. It crosses all the way over from one side of India across into what is modern day Pakistan. And one of the things Ashoka did, he helped unify India to look much like it is today by conquering this area in the middle called the Deccan region, in this area, Kalinga. And this is pretty noteworthy because it was bloody. Ashoka was a bloody ruler early on. Before he became the leader of the Maurya Empire, as a general, his conquest was bloody. He killed 100,000 soldiers in it, and a lot of civilians died in this conquest. And so, what happens with Ashoka is after this ends, after he reflects back on his life later on, he realizes that he has caused a lot of death in his life. So he decides to convert to Buddhism. And this is significant because, as we will talk about later, India was not a very Buddhist nation at the time or area at the time. India was primarily Hindu. But Ashoka embraced the ideas of a more peaceful lifestyle and a more serene lifestyle. And so this leader Ashoka, when he takes over the Maurya Empire, he converts to Buddhism, mostly as a way to try and make amends for all the bloodshed and death he caused. He saw this death of destructive of war, and he wanted a religion that promoted peace. So Ashoka and Buddhism, he ruled by these teachings: peace to all beings, which is from the Buddha. He had these giant stone pillars. You see one right here, uh, put up all around the empire, and these were called rock edicts. And what they did, these essentially were like newspapers for the Indian Empire. Essentially, he had inscribed on them different policies and rules and laws for their government. And this was groundbreaking because it allowed the people of India to have a connection and be able to hear from their rulers. Think about how far away the rulers could be from their people. It seems like they were completely disconnected. But by having these put up throughout the entire empire, it allowed people to go and actually read and be more informed about what's going on in their empire in India. In addition, he treated the subjects humanely and fairly. The people were treated fairly. He encouraged religious toleration, and all of this had to do with trying to make amends for all the bloodshed that he caused. He encouraged people to practice different religions. He didn't mind Hindu, Buddhist. You can practice what you want. He tried to have the road systems extend across the whole country to connect the entire nation, and he even constructed what you can think of as hospitals at the time. And really, hospitals would be more like different herbs and things like that were planted in order to try and provide healthcare for the people across the nation. Now, a little bit more about Buddhist, his policies. He encouraged a vegetarian lifestyle, which of course means less bloodshed and death with animals. He did step on the toes of the Hindus who preferred animal sacrifices, and he prevented that. He limited that. But the greatest of his legacies is going to be that he sent missionaries to China and Sri Lanka, and he paved the way for Buddhism to Asia. Buddhism is not very big in India today. However, it is huge in places like China, Korea, and Japan. And this is because of Ashoka over 2,000 years ago, or about 2,000 years ago, him going and spreading Buddhism across these other places. That changes the world when he spreads it to China and Japan. But unfortunately, after he dies, the empire crumbles due to a lack of unification and fractures into smaller states or sections, which brings the end of the Maurya Empire.